Hey there, all you business owners and C-level execs out there. Welcome to another deep dive from Shield Media. I'm Lex,
And
and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Vera.
it's always great to be here, Lex, and a big hello to everyone tuning in.
So we know you're all crazy busy trying to keep up with this, always changing world of digital marketing,
Oh, yeah.
which is why we're here to break down some of the biggest, most important changes coming up in SEO.
Because let's be honest, what worked last year
Oh, yeah.
might not work at all in 2025.
Yeah.
Especially when we're talking about search.
Exactly. And we've been digging deep, going through articles, research, even some Reddit threads to get a handle on what's coming next.
Oh, wow.
And one thing that really stood out to us is how much Google is shaking things up on those search engine results pages,
Right.
the search IPs.
Oh, yeah. It's like they're always experimenting,
Yeah.
testing what works. And it
Yeah.
feels like sometimes they're moving goalposts,
Yeah.
you know?
Definitely. Well, one goalpost they seem to be moving back is continuous scrolling.
Oh, right.
Remember that first rolled out, everyone thought it was like the end of pagination.
Yeah, yeah.
But guess what? Pagination is back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's a big change.
it is.
What do you think this means for organic search results?
Well, I'm thinking if people have to click to see more results, those organic listings, they're going to get pushed further down the page.
Yeah, exactly. Less visibility.
Less visibility for businesses who rely on that organic traffic.
Totally. And this actually kind of plays into something that Brett Tabke, the founder of PubCon, has been talking about.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. He calls it a new version of Portal.
Okay.
Where Google is basically saying, hey, we're prioritizing our own properties, like our own stuff, and paid ads
Right.
over those traditional organic results.
So it's like we're going back to the days when page one real estate was all that mattered, but with AI thrown into the mix now.
You got it. You hit the nail on the head. And speaking of AI, we can't ignore the rise of, what are they called? Those Google AI overviews.
AIOs.
AIOs, yes. Those AI-generated summaries that show up right at the top of the search results, pulling information from, all over the place, multiple sources.
Which sounds great for users. They get a quick summary.
Yeah?
But what about the websites that are actually providing all of that information?
That's a great question, and there has been some research on that. A study by SEO Clarity found that
Okay.
while higher-ranking sites are more likely to be featured in those AIOs,
Okay.
there's still a chance of misinformation,
Yeah?
Like they had that example where an AIO
Yeah.
cited a random YouTube comment about how to clean vinyl records, and the comment said to use sandpaper.
Oh, no. What is
Disaster. Imagine that happening to a business, right? An AIO pulls some totally inaccurate information, presents it as fact.
Oh, yeah. That's a PR nightmare.
PR nightmare waiting to happen, especially for businesses who, need people to trust them.
Exactly. Rely on that credibility.
And their expertise.
Yeah.
And this just goes to show how important it is to not only rely on Google to send you traffic, we have to be building that strong online presence across different platforms.
So diversifying our marketing, building relationships with other websites, and engaging with people on social media.
Exactly. We can't put all our eggs in one basket anymore,
Yeah.
It's not just about Google. We got to think about reaching people wherever they are, not just on those search results.
Right. Now, with all this talk about AI and changing algorithms, traditional SEO tactics like domain authority,
Yeah,
almost feel outdated.
true.
Yeah.
And I actually saw a really interesting discussion about this on Reddit.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, there was this website owner who is freaking out because their DA score just totally tanked.
Oh, man.
And they got hit with all this spam.
Dammy backlinks. Yeah, that's
Now, never good. But it's a good reminder that those third-party metrics, like DA, they don't always tell the whole story about how healthy your website is.
Right.
And you know what? John Mueller, the Google search advocate, actually jumped into that Reddit thread.
He did what he said.
He did. And he basically said what Google's been saying forever: focus on creating, high quality, unique content that actually helps users.
So don't chase the numbers. Focus on what actually matters to your audience.
That's it. That's the key takeaway. And you know what? This actually brings us to something super important for SEO these days: entities.
Okay, now before we go any further, can you explain what entities even are in the SEO world? I think some of our listeners might not know.
Sure. So basically, an entity is anything that can be uniquely identified. Think like a person, a brand, a place, even an idea.
Okay.
And Google is getting really, really good at understanding these entities and all the relationships between them.
So it's not just about keywords anymore. It's about Google understanding your brand, like as a whole.
Exactly. And, this connects to schema markup, which is like a way to help Google understand all the info on your website.
Right.
But it's even bigger than that. It's about like building a strong online presence that really shows your expertise and your authority in like your niche, your area.
So what are some practical things businesses can do to improve their, entity optimization?
Good question. Well, first off, consistency is key. You want to make sure your brand name, messaging, contact info, it's all the same across every platform, like your website, your social media, directory listings.
Gotcha. So make it easy for Google to connect the dots.
That's it. You want to make it super clear that all these pieces of information are related to your brand.
Yeah.
And it's also about building relationships and getting mention on other websites
Okay.
that are already seen as like authorities in your industry.
So backlinks are still important.
Backlinks are still important, but it's not just about how many you have anymore.
Yeah.
It's about quality and relevance.
So earning links from sites that are actually relevant to your industry and trusted by Google.
Exactly. And don't forget about mentions.
Right.
Even if a website doesn't link directly to your site, a positive mention can still help.
Yeah.
It can boost your visibility and help Google understand your entity better.
So it's about creating like a web of interconnected information that all points back to your brand.
You got it. And the more positive and consistent those signals are, the better your chances of ranking well and attracting your ideal audience.
Now, speaking of strange things happening on the SRPs,
Oh, yeah.
I came across a really weird case study in Search Engine Journal.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's about this website, SEO-USA.org.
Okay.
And before you ask, it has nothing to do with SEO.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's for sponsors for educational opportunity, right?
I think so, yeah.
And the thing is, it's ranking for all sorts of SEO-related keywords,
Really?
even though it's not about that at all.
How is that possible?
I know, right? And it seems like the reason it's ranking so well is because it has a ton of backlinks from highauthority.edu and .org websites.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Google might be putting more weight on like where the backlink is coming from than what the content actually says?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. So even though the website's content isn't about SEO, it's getting a boost just from all those backlinks.
Wow. It's almost like the content doesn't even matter anymore.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
But it does raise some important questions about how Google's algorithms are changing and what signals they're prioritizing.
For sure.
Because if a website that's totally unrelated to a topic can rank well just because of its backlinks, that has implications for everyone who's trying to optimize their website for search.
Big time. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, right? We need to be adaptable, stay on top of these changes, because what works today might not work tomorrow.
It's a constant learning process.
It is. But, it's also a really exciting time to be involved with SEO.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much innovation happening and always new strategies to try out.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to talk about how businesses can actually adapt their SEO strategies for 2025.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So we've talked about all these changes in SEO, but what can business owners and executives actually do to, stay ahead of the curve in 2025?
Because knowing Google is changing things is one thing, but like, what's the game plan?
Exactly. And one of the biggest things to think about is how AI is changing those search results, especially informational content. Like those quick, easy answers people used to search for, they might not even reach your website anymore.
So if my website is all about giving those quick answers, like what is this or how to do that, I could be in trouble.
I wouldn't say trouble.
Okay.
But it's definitely time to adapt. Instead of focusing on those simple informational searches, think about creating content that's more transactional.
Okay, what does that mean, transactional content?
So think about content that's helping people make a decision or a purchase.
Okay.
Like, let's say you're in e-commerce, right? Instead of just explaining what a product is, you could create, like, a comparison tool. Shows the pros and cons of different models or, you know, an interactive size guide helping people find the right fit.
Makes sense. So it's less about those general questions.
Exactly.
And more about actually guiding people to buy something.
Yeah, guiding them through the buying process.
Okay, and this kind of content is less likely to get swallowed up by those AI summaries, right?
Yeah, it is. And plus, it's going to attract people who are closer to making a purchase. High intent traffic.
Yeah.
That's what we like.
High intent traffic. I like the sound of that.
But even with this shift to more transactional content,
Yeah.
I think EEAT and helpful content are still going to be super important. Google seems to be really focusing on that, right?
Yeah, they're doubling down, it seems like.
Absolutely. So remember, EEAT, that stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Right.
Google wants to see that your content is credible and it's backed by, like, real knowledge. Think about it. You wouldn't trust medical advice from some random forum post, would you?
No way. I'd want to know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Like a doctor or, a real source.
Exactly. And that's what Google's looking for in your content, too. They want to see that you actually have experience in your field, that you're an authority, and that people can trust you.
Makes sense. And the helpful content update.
Right.
That's all about making sure the content actually helps users.
Yeah.
Not just trying to trick the system to rank higher.
Exactly. So how do we actually show that EEAT and helpfulness?
Yeah. How do we prove it?
Well, first of all, you want to go beyond, like, surface level information. Don't just repeat what everyone else is saying.
Yeah.
Provide those unique insights, maybe some data to back up your claims, or even personal stories that show you have actual experience.
Yeah. I remember reading an article on Backlinko about that, and they talked about showing your expertise.
Right.
With things like detailed author bios,
Yes.
original research, and even like bringing in different viewpoints.
Yeah, that's a good point. And don't be afraid to, like, get creative with your content. We're not just talking blog posts here.
Right.
We're in a multimedia world, so think about videos, images, infographics,
That makes sense.
even interactive elements to make things more engaging and memorable.
Yeah, and speaking of multimedia,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like we need to be thinking beyond just Google, right?
Yeah, you're right. We can't forget about all those conversational search platforms like ChatGPT,
Yeah.
voice assistants, and even those new AI-powered features on Bing. These platforms are changing how people search,
Yeah.
and we need to adapt our content.
So how do we optimize for conversational search?
Well, it starts with understanding how people are using these platforms.
Great.
They're often asking questions in a way that's more natural, more conversational.
Yeah.
So instead of focusing on specific keywords,
Yeah.
think about creating content that answers those natural language questions.
Right, like how people actually talk.
Exactly.
Okay. And I remember seeing a good section on social media and SEO
Oh, yeah.
in a Simply Learn article. They were talking about actually engaging with people on those platforms. Like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook.
Yeah.
Not just posting links.
That's a really good point. Just being present on social media isn't enough.
Right.
You need to be engaging, talking to people, responding to comments, building those relationships.
And those signals are becoming more important for SEO, right?
Yeah, those social media signals are becoming super important for SEO.
Oh.
They show Google how authoritative and engaging your brand is.
And then we can't forget local SEO.
Yeah.
Especially businesses operating in like a specific geographic area.
Oh, yeah. Local SEO is huge.
Yeah.
With Google kind of pushing its own properties more and more,
Right.
optimizing that Google business profile is more important than ever.
Okay, so make sure your business name, address, phone number, website,
Yeah.
it's all consistent across all those platforms.
Exactly. And encourage people to leave reviews.
Right.
Reviews are like gold.
Yeah.
Both for Google and for potential customers.
Yeah, they're really powerful. It seems like SEO in 2025
Right.
is all about being adaptable, embracing AI, and creating content that works for both people and those algorithms.
You got it. It's about understanding how search is changing and then changing your strategies to fit
Yeah.
while still giving your audience real value.
Now, I know some business owners might feel overwhelmed by all of this.
Oh.
What are some things they should keep in mind as they, navigate this new world of digital marketing?
First and foremost, don't panic.
Okay, good advice.
Change can be scary, but it also creates opportunities.
Yeah.
Think of it as a chance to get creative and think outside the box.
Love that. What else?
Always start with your audience.
Yeah.
Who are they?
Yeah.
What do they need? What are their pain points? What kind of content will they actually want to see?
Yeah.
Once you understand your audience, then you can start crafting content and strategies that actually meet their needs.
So it's back to basics in a way, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Right.
Understanding your audience, creating valuable content.
Right.
But we also need to be thinking about how to use AI and automation to make our work easier and more efficient.
Yeah, and I remember reading an article on inbound blogging about AI and SEO. They talked about using AI for all sorts of things.
Oh, cool.
Like link building, optimizing content, even workflow management.
It's amazing what AI can do for SEO. But it's really important to remember that AI is a tool.
Yeah.
It's not replacing us.
Okay.
We still need to make those big decisions and make sure the content is high quality.
It's about finding that balance between AI and human input.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things, see what works, and keep changing your approach. SEO is constantly changing, and the only way to stay ahead is to change with it.
This has been a great conversation, and I feel like we've covered a lot. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. Given all these changes with search and the growing role of AI, what do you think is the biggest challenge for businesses trying to ensure their content remains discoverable, engaging, and relevant in 2025 and beyond?
That's a great question, and it's definitely something that a lot of people are thinking about right now. I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be finding that balance, between optimizing for those algorithms and the AI, but still creating content that real people actually want to read and engage with.
So it's not just about keywords and backlinks anymore. It's about really understanding how people search for information, what they're looking for.
Exactly. It's about understanding how AI is changing those expectations. People are used to getting quick answers, personalized results, and even interactive experiences. We have to adapt, right?
Right. We have to adapt.
You have to meet those expectations.
So what would you say to businesses that are, maybe feeling a little overwhelmed by all of this? What's the first step they should take?
Well, I wouldn't say it's time to panic.
Okay.
This is definitely a time of change, but it's also a time of opportunity. The businesses that really embrace these changes, the ones that adapt, they're going to be the ones that succeed.
So it's about looking at these changes as like chances to do things differently, to innovate.
Exactly. And remember, SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about quick wins. It's about building something strong, creating great content, and consistently putting in the work over time.
Yeah, it's a long game. And it's about being willing to learn and adapt as the landscape changes, which, as we've seen, is happening pretty quickly.
All the time. The best advice I can give is to stay curious, experiment.
Yeah.
See what works and never stop learning. There are always new things popping up in SEO.
Well, I think that's a great point to end on. Thank you so much for all these insights.
Yeah.
And to everyone listening, we hope you found this deep dive valuable.
It was my pleasure. And to our listeners, remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about these changes, the better you'll be able to succeed in this crazy world of digital marketing.
And don't forget, if you're a Western client and you're looking for some expert guidance, Shield Media is here to help. We specialize in local SEO, PPC, and SMM, and we're really passionate about helping businesses like yours thrive online.
So be sure to hit that follow button to stay updated on all the latest from Shield Media. And don't forget to share this episode with anyone who might find it helpful.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep diving deep into the world of digital marketing.